The wind howled like a living thing across the cliffs of Run 9. Black clouds gathered over the gray sea, and waves crashed against the rocks far below. High upon the edge stood a strange figure, chained, wounded, and trembling. Her name was Asha, a being from another star. Her skin shimmered faintly silver under the stormlight, and her eyes, bright blue like twin stars, still burned with life. She had crash-landed here 3 days ago on a planet not her own, on a world ruled by fear and superstition, and now, the humans of the coastal settlement had chained her to die. They believed she was a monster, a bringer of curses, a sign of doom. The locals whispered that the storms had grown worse since she fell from the sky. So to protect their village, they took her to the cliff and bound her in iron. The ravens came first, circling in the air, dark wings cutting across the gray sky. From a distance, Commander Elias Trent watched. He was not part of the village. He was a soldier from the Human Expeditionary Corps, stranded after a failed mission. His ship had been destroyed by the same storm that had brought Asha down. For 3 days he had watched the villagers grow fearful, and today, he watched them punish what they didn't understand. Elias clenched his fists as the wind carried the sound of her cries. He wasn't a man easily shaken. He had fought in wars across 3 worlds, but something about this alien stirred something deep inside him. She wasn't like any enemy he had faced. Her body was fragile, her voice soft, yet she endured pain with quiet strength. When the villagers left, leaving her to the ravens and the cold, Elias made his choice. He waited until night fell. The storm returned, fierce and wild. Lightning flashed, revealing the cliffs like flashes from an old war. The rain came in sheets, soaking the rocks. Moving through the darkness, Elias climbed down the jagged path to where Asha hung. Her eyes opened as he approached, weak but still alert. "You came," she whispered. Her voice was strange, melodic, but the translator chip in his ear made sense of it. "I shouldn't have waited this long," Elias replied. "Hold on, I'll get you out." The chains were thick, forged by hand, not machine. He drew his plasma knife and cut through one, then another. Every strike of lightning showed the strain on his face. The rain mixed with sweat and blood, not all of it his own. When the final chain broke, Asha collapsed into his arms. Her skin was cold, her breathing shallow. "Why save me?" she asked. "Your kind fears mine." "Not all of us," he said. "I don't fear what I don't understand. I fight to protect it." For a moment there was silence. Only the wind and the thunder spoke. Then she gave a small nod. "Then I will trust you, Elias of Earth." He carried her through the storm, back toward the cave he had been hiding in since the crash. Inside, the faint glow of his emergency beacon painted the stone walls blue. He laid her down near the heater, wrapping a survival blanket around her. She studied him with those bright eyes. "Your world? You are from the Blue Star." "Yes." "Earth," he said, kneeling beside her. "You know of it?" Her eyes softened. "I learned of your people long ago. You are young but brave. You rise even when the universe strikes you down." Elias gave a quiet laugh. "That's one way to put it." Asha tilted her head as if curious. "The villagers, they feared me. Why do you not?" He looked at her, at the cuts on her arms, at the dirt on her silver skin. "Because I've seen what real monsters look like. You're not one of them." She seemed to think deeply about that. Then she closed her eyes, resting. For the first time in days, the cave was quiet. The storm still raged outside, but inside there was warmth, and something else. A fragile peace between 2 souls who should have been enemies. Hours passed. Elias repaired a small transmitter, trying to reach orbit. Static answered him. No human ships, no signals, just endless white noise. When he turned back, Asha was awake again. She was sitting up, her wounds glowing faintly, not with blood but with light. Her body seemed to heal itself slowly. "You're healing fast," he said in wonder. "It is my nature," she said softly. "My kind was made to endure." "Made?" She hesitated, then nodded. "I was born in the laboratories of Valthera, a place where stars are tamed. My people were created to survive the void between galaxies, to carry messages across time and darkness." Elias stared at her. "You're a messenger?" "Yes," she whispered. "I was sent to warn your kind. There is a darkness coming and a fleet beyond reason. They are not like you or me. They consume everything. I came to find you, to tell you to prepare. His heart raced. Then why didn't you tell them? The villagers? Her eyes grew distant. Because they do not listen to what they fear. They see difference and call it danger. Elias stood, pacing slowly. The storm outside had grown louder. Then we'll make them listen. You're not dying here, not on my watch. She looked at him, her expression calm but proud. You would stand against your own kind for me? For what's right, he said firmly. Humanity isn't perfect, but when we choose to stand, we don't back down. Asha smiled faintly. The first true smile since she had fallen from the sky. Then, through the sound of thunder, came another noise. Engines. Heavy, metallic, and close. Elias froze. Outside red lights cut through the rain. Dropships, the human ones, but not rescue. These were from the corporate alliance, the same faction that had started the war. They were searching for something. Or someone. Elias turned off the beacon at once. They found us, he whispered. Asha looked up. They will not stop. They hunt me. They believe my message threatens their rule. He checked his weapon, low on charge but still working. Then we run. No, she said quietly. We fight. For a moment, neither spoke. Lightning flashed again, revealing two figures, one human, one alien, standing side by side. The storm roared like a beast around them. Elias knew that if they stayed, they might die. But if they ran, humanity might never hear her warning. He looked at her and made his choice. Then we fight, he said. Outside, the sound of landing gear crushed against stone. Shadows moved through the storm, and deep in the cliffs of Run 9, a human soldier and a fallen messenger prepared to defy the darkness together. The first battle of the coming war was about to begin. The roar of engines filled the night sky. Red lights swept across the cliffs, cutting through rain and darkness. The corporate alliance troops had landed. Their metal boots clanged against the rocks as they spread out in search of their target. Inside the cave, Elias checked his plasma rifle. The charge was almost gone. One mistake and both he and Asha would be captured, or worse. They have sensors, he whispered. They'll find us soon. Asha stood beside him, her wounds almost healed. Her silver skin glowed faintly in the dim light. They follow the signal you sent before, she said calmly. They think I carry something valuable. You do, Elias muttered. The truth. She turned her gaze to him. You risk your life for me, a stranger from another star. Why? Elias took a deep breath. Because what they're doing is wrong. You tried to warn us, and they tried to silence you. I won't let them win. Asha smiled softly. Then we stand together. Outside lightning flashed again, and in that brief light Elias saw the dark figures approaching the cave entrance. He crouched behind a rock, gripping his weapon tight. The first soldier entered. His visor glowed red. Elias fired. The plasma bolt struck true, dropping the man instantly. Another came in, shouting, but Asha raised her hand when a pulse of bright blue energy burst from her palm. The air shimmered, and the soldier's armor froze like glass. Elias stared in awe. What was that? My light, she answered simply. It bends space and stops time for what touches it. That'll do, he said, reloading. But there were more, too many. The cave shook as explosions hit the cliffs outside. They were trying to flush them out. Elias and Asha ran through a narrow tunnel at the back, emerging onto a ledge that overlooked the stormy sea. The wind lashed at them cold and sharp. Down below, the waves smashed against the rocks. There's nowhere left to go, Elias said, scanning the drop. There is always a path, Asha replied, eyes glowing brighter now. If you have faith. Before he could ask what she meant, she reached out and touched his arm. For a moment, he felt the world tilt. The air folded around them. And suddenly they were no longer on the ledge. They were standing on another cliff half a kilometer away. Elias gasped. You can teleport? Not far, she said weakly. It drains my strength, he looked back. The enemy soldiers were confused, searching the empty cave. Good, he said. That'll buy us time. They hurried through the rain toward the old comm station, a tower long abandoned by miners. If they could reach it, Elias might boost a signal strong enough to reach any human ship still orbiting nearby. When they arrived, the tower was leaning, rusted, and half broken by storms. Elias climbed the ladder, lightning flashing around him. At the top, he opened the panel and started repairing the transmitter with trembling hands. Asha waited below, her gaze turned toward the storm. They are coming again, she warned. I just need a few minutes, Elias shouted over the thunder. Keep them back. The ravens had returned too, hundreds of them circling above the cliffs. They cawed and screamed in the storm, as if they too sensed the coming battle. Asha stepped forward. Her body glowed brighter now, the light flowing from her wounds, her palms, her eyes. It was not just energy. It was power, pure and ancient. When the soldiers reached the ridge, their weapons ready, they stopped for a moment. Not from fear, but from awe. The alien stood alone, radiant against the black sky. By order of the corporate alliance, one shouted, "You are under arrest. Surrender or we open fire." She did not answer. Then she raised her hand, and the storm itself seemed to listen. The thunder rolled louder, the lightning twisted, and the wind became a weapon. Bolts of energy danced across the soldiers' armor, short-circuiting their systems. Elias finished his work and yelled, "Asha, the signal's ready." He turned the comms toward the sky. "This is Commander Elias Trent of the Human Expeditionary Corps. Any ship in orbit, respond. We have first contact, and a warning for all of humanity." Static, then a faint voice. "This is the Dauntless." "Signal received, Commander. Transmission link open." Elias's heart pounded. "Patch this through," he said, turning to Asha. "Tell them." She looked weak, her light fading. But she nodded and spoke into the wind. Her voice carried through the transmitter, soft yet powerful. "To the people of Earth," she said, "I am Asha of Vialthera. I bring word from beyond your stars. A fleet comes, not for conquest, but for consumption. They devour light, worlds, and life itself. They are called the Hollow Swarm. They cannot be reasoned with. You must prepare, or your worlds will fall as mine did." Her words echoed through the storm. Then she collapsed. Elias caught her before she hit the ground. "Stay with me," he whispered. But before he could say more, a sharp blast hit the tower. One of the soldiers had fired a rocket. The structure shook violently. Metal screamed as it started to fall. Elias threw himself over Asha, protecting her as the tower collapsed. They hit the ground hard, the rain and dust mixing in the air. When he opened his eyes, the comms tower was gone. But the message had already been sent. He could only hope someone had heard it. Asha lay motionless. The glow of her skin was dim now, flickering like a dying flame. No, stay with me," Elias begged. "You did it. They heard you. You can rest now." She looked at him weakly. "Elias, your kind. They are strong, stronger than you know. You will fight them. You will survive." He shook his head, his voice breaking. "You're not dying here. Not after all this," she smiled faintly. "Do not mourn me. My purpose is complete. My light will remain." And with that, the glow in her eyes spread across her body, brighter and brighter until it filled the whole cliff with radiant blue light. The soldiers who were still standing turned away blinded. The storm quieted for a heartbeat. Then in silence, her body dissolved into shimmering dust carried away by the wind. Elias fell to his knees. The rain washed the dirt from his hands. The ravens circled above, silent now. In the distance, the Dauntless broke through the clouds, a massive human warship, its lights shining like stars through the storm. A voice came through his earpiece. "Commander Trent, we received the message. The fleet's on alert. You did good, soldier." He looked up at the sky. "No," he said quietly. She did. The ship descended slowly, sending down rescue pods. As the soldiers arrived, Elias stood exhausted but unbroken. He looked toward the cliff where Asha had been chained days before, now empty, washed clean by rain. He remembered her last words. "My light will remain." When he turned to leave, something caught his eye, a faint glow on the rocks, small and steady like a living ember. He touched it gently. It pulsed with warmth, alive. He smiled. "Guess you weren't kidding." Elias placed the glowing fragment into his chest pocket and walked toward the rescue ship. The storm was ending. The dawn was breaking over the gray sea. Humanity had been warned. The universe was changing, and somewhere among the stars the light of one fallen messenger continued to shine, not as a memory but as hope, because humans never forget those who fight beside them. And when the darkness comes, they rise together,